Bryan, it's a very different view from down here, almost scary, I'd say, looking up at the stand, and I can't quite imagine what it feels like to ride a horse or even a winner up towards there. But we'll start at the start, I guess. Tell us where we are now.
So we're at the 2 mile hurdle, 2 mile chase start. It's probably one of the most important starts of Leopardstown. You know, from the novice, from the grade ones, you mightn't have big fields, but in the handicaps you could have up to 24 of us circling around this area here, and it is quite daunting down here. Everyone fighting for one position, but it's a fair start.
So you get your position, or you fight for your position, and then what we're looking at here, if we'll walk towards them, the hurdle course on the left hand side, and then as you mentioned, the first fence I noticed comes a bit quicker.
Yeah, I think the first fence in the chase, especially the 2 mile chase, is very important. If you miss that, you're on the back foot because you're on the run downhill from the winning post, and the second and third are quite daunting fences, you know. So it's quite important to jump that.
And what are you thinking as a jockey approaching the first, or what's your job between here when you set off and getting to that first hurdle or fence?
I suppose just getting a clear run on it, having a little bit of light. It's, as I said again, it's fine in the smaller fields, but when you've maybe 24 of you fighting for a position down to this, you're just trying to get a little gap that the horse sees the fence and can know where he's going, and just land and get the position that you're dealt with then.
Get a good position, get over the first, and then we'll head on down now to probably down the other side and see what that dip looks like. I know it's early days, but do you get a bit of a buzz if you jump this well?
Yeah, it's not a nice experience thinking, right, you've met this halfway up, you've another 12 or 13 of these to jump, you know, the whole way around. So you need the horse's confidence to be up. They're a big fence, but they ride well, and they're very fair, but you need to jump around Leopardstown as well.
And of course you'll be going past the stand once you jump it, so
yeah,
you want to be jumping it in a good position.
Big crowd, a lot of pressure on you as well, and I've landed at the back of this once or twice, and it's a lonely walk back up as well.
I'd imagine so. Well, we'll head on past this, down the other side, and we'll take a look at, as you probably go down the back straight before we come back here, which will be the final fence as you come into the finish. Coming down the back straight now, and to be honest, for me, this is quite a daunting picture as we look at this head on. Is it a similar feeling for yourself? I know you've been around here plenty of times, so you're experienced, but what are you thinking travelling down here?
All depends what you're riding. If you're on a good jumper, it's probably the best place you can be on a good solid jumper, and you're winging down the back. If you're on a bad jumper, I couldn't think of any place to be any worse, being honest. But you know, you've 5 fences. The first one down the back comes up quick off the bend, and then you've 4 bang, 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 and it's a big advantage if you're on a good jumper here, because you can get a lot of lengths. That's where you really kind of get your advantage, I imagine, over the fences, down this back straight, and then on to finish. Yeah, well, chase course suits a horse that jumps well, because you know you need to. If you miss 1 or 2 of these, you're on the back foot. But if you're on a solid good jumper and you're getting flyers at these, it could be a big advantage to you. And you could, you know, in small runner races, you could kill off a horse that's travelling a little bit better. But if you're jumping better than him, it's a massive advantage. And you hit that 5th, and from there you turn the bend. Yeah, you swing the bend towards the ditch, which is the 3rd last, which again is quite a daunting fence. It comes up off the bend, and in big fields they can quite swarm around you a bit. It gets quite congested, and daylight can be quite at a minimum. And you see a lot of Phil Dore made a mistake here at Christmas time at it, and then you swing the bend to the 2nd last and tally-ho down to the last then. Down to the last, that's where we'll head. You've pinged the last, or you're hoping, or at least you've got over the last. It's a fair old run up, isn't it, to the finish line? What are you thinking as you come over this and on the landing side particularly? It's one of the longest runs in Irish racecourses. If you're in front, it's even longer, because if your petrol gauge is running empty and you jump this and land, you're looking up. You've a steep enough climb. It doesn't look it from the TV, but you're on a strong climb the whole way to the winning line. And if there's 4 or 5 of the chasing back coming at you, you're there sitting duck for them, and you're praying for that finishing line to come closer and closer to you. If you're coming from behind, I like coming at a horse sometimes from, if you're 2 or 3 lengths down jumping the last here and you get a flyer, it suits something to aim at, you know. And I've gotten up a couple of times here late on in a finish. You might remember Jack Kennedy got up late on one of Gordon Elliott's that time in the Paddy Power. He chinned Fitzhenry on the line, you know. It suits horses coming from off the pace, but you need to jump this. If you're in front, you miss it. It's a long walk from the back to the last home. We'll walk up. As you're heading up here,
and you can hear the crowd, what are you thinking? Especially if you're in with a chance.
There's no better feeling, you know, it's like Cheltenham. I've been lucky enough to ride big winners here, Lexuses and champion hurdles, and the atmosphere is incredible, you know, it's one of the biggest stands in Irish racing, and full pack stands there's no better feeling.
And is there a particular memory here for yourself?
I think Don Poli winning the Lexus here a couple of years ago, I was like one of them. I jumped the last a half length in front. Don Poli was never one to do much in front, and I could feel, I didn't know it was Davy Russell in first lieutenant, but I could feel something coming at me the whole way to the line. I won a half a length, and I gave one of my quite an emotional celebration that time, because it was a long week for me, but that was one of the best days I've had in racing by far.